Tomorrow morning when you go to a petrol pump, take a look at the board once, then go to the next pump, and after that the next one. What will you see? The same price everywhere, whether it is PSO Shell total or TOC, maybe a difference of 1 or 2 rupees. Have you ever wondered why you were told that since 2010 petrol prices are deregulated? That means on paper it is a free market, the company is free to set its prices it wishes, but if it were really like that there would be differences in prices, right? Someone would sell cheaper to attract customers, someone would sell higher in the name of quality. Shell would have one rate, PSO another, but that is not the case. All are the same. Why? Because what you think is competition is not competition, it is a cartel, it is a system that was created by a man 150 years ago, and that system is still working today just like it did on day one. Remember 2016 when Jazz launched cheap packages, free calls, cheap data, unlimited offers, the whole country went crazy. You thought, wow, what an offer, but what happened in the next 2 years? Worried disappeared. Ufone, Weekend, Telenor and Zone had to change their plans. In a few years the entire telecom industry shrunk to a few companies, and one of them became the most powerful. That cheap data was not for you, it was the cost to kill competition. And you were not the customer in that game, you were the weapon. This is not a new trick, this trick is 150 years old, and it was first perfected by a man whose name was John D. Rockefeller. Rockefeller was the richest man in the world, the richest man in history. His wealth in today's terms was more than $400 billion when he was at his peak, several times richer than any other rich man in the world at that time. It is said that in those days 2% of the entire American economy was only with Rockefeller, with one man. Imagine. But Rockefeller's real legacy is not money, his real legacy is the system he created, the method he invented, and that method is still used by every big company. Amazon uses it, Google uses it, big corporate groups use it, banks use it, pharma companies use it. You live inside that system every day, every moment, and you don't even realize it today. I will show you that system, how Rockefeller built it, how he destroyed his competitors, how even after his company broke apart he became richer, and how 100 years later you are still trapped in the same system he designed. Because understanding the system is not just knowing history, it is survival. It is survival. As begin. John Davidson Rockefeller was born on July 8, 1839, in a small village in New York. His father was a con man, a swindler who sold fake medicines, going from village to village fooling people. His mother was religious, strict, and moral. Understand this combination. From his father he got cleverness and the art of manipulating people, and from his mother he got the belief that whatever I am doing is right. Rockefeller destroyed his competitors without any mercy, but he genuinely believed that he was doing the right thing. He felt that he was organizing the industry, that he was ending chaos. That is what made him dangerous, because a man who considers himself right can do anything. In 1859, oil was discovered in Pennsylvania. The oil rush began. Thousands of people ran to dig wells. Some became rich, some were ruined. Boom and bust. Every day was uncertain. At that time Rockefeller was 20 years old, working as a bookkeeper in Cleveland. He also saw the oil rush, but he did not see what everyone else was seeing. Everyone else was thinking, dig oil from the ground and get rich. But Rockefeller saw that extracting oil was a gamble. It depended on luck. But refining was the real business. Cleaning crude oil and turning it into kerosene, which was used for lighting homes at the time, was a stable business. Whoever extracted the oil would still have to refine it, so the refinery business would always run. In 1863, Rockefeller invested $4,000 to start his first refinery. Within 2 years, it became the largest refinery in Cleveland. But there were 30 refineries in the city. The competition was fierce. Prices were falling. Profits were low. This is where his real game began. He decided he would not fight by lowering prices. He would destroy the competition, and for this, he adopted vertical integration, which means controlling the entire supply chain of your business yourself. He bought barrel-making factories. He bought tank wagons. He built his own warehouses. He created a direct network to retailers. Every task that someone else had been doing, he started doing himself. His costs became the lowest. Then he made secret deals with the railroad companies. His goods were transported cheaply, while his competitors paid more freight. Now he could sell kerosene so cheaply that everyone else would lose money on every sale, and he would still make a profit. In 1870, he created the Standard Oil Company. At that time, he controlled only 4% of the oil business in America, but this was only the beginning.
In 1872, Rockefeller started the second phase of his strategy, which today is called horizontal integration. In simple terms, it meant buy or eliminate all other businesses like yours. What happened that year is known in history as the Cleveland Massacre. Within 3 months, Rockefeller met every owner of every refinery in Cleveland. He made a direct offer, sell me your refinery. If they agreed, they got a fair price, and many were even kept on as managers. But if anyone refused, the game changed. Rockefeller would start a price war. He would sell kerosene so cheaply that it went below cost. Small refiners lost money on every sale. They had only 2 options: sell their company, or go bankrupt. Most collapsed. Some tried to fight, but no one succeeded. In just 3 months, 25 out of 26 refineries in Cleveland came under Rockefeller's control. The journey from 4% to 25% was completed in only 3 months. This was not a decision made in anger. It was fully planned. It was a blueprint. First, buy with friendship. If refused, crush economically. Then acquire cheaply. This method was later repeated in every industry. After Cleveland, Rockefeller did not stop. He spread across America: New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Same method, same deals, same price wars. By 1879, Standard Oil controlled 90% of America's refining. Out of every 100 barrels, 90 were Rockefeller's. This was not a business. This was a monopoly. Monopoly means the customer has no other option. When a single company decides the price, the quality, and the supply, people's anger began to grow. Newspapers started writing. Rockefeller began to be called a robber baron, the most hated man in America. But Rockefeller was not a fool. He knew a monopoly could not last long. The government would intervene one day, and that is exactly what happened. In 1882, Rockefeller took a step that would change the corporate world forever. He created a trust. A trust meant that on paper, there were separate companies, but the real control was in a single hand. He put the shares of all his companies into a trust. The people controlling the trust were his own men. From the outside, everything looked legal, but in reality, the full control was still with him. This same model later became the holding company today. When you see one company owning multiple brands and businesses, understand that this is the same model. By 1904, Standard Oil controlled 91% of refining and 85% of sales in America. Rockefeller had become the richest man in the world, but then came the biggest twist. In 1911, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil was an illegal monopoly and had to be broken up into 34 separate companies. The world thought the game was over. The empire was broken, but the real game was only beginning. The company broke up, but the owner remained the same. Rockefeller had shares in every new company. Before the breakup, the stock price of one share was low. After the breakup, overall, his wealth increased. He won even in defeat because each piece became the biggest in its own territory. Again, the monopoly did not end. It just got divided, and gradually, over the years, these companies began merging again. The names changed, but the system remained the same.
Ever wondered how one man could control an entire industry, even after his empire was officially dismantled? This is the story of John D. Rockefeller, but it's not just about oil. It's about a blueprint for power that's still used today. When the courts broke up Standard Oil, many thought Rockefeller had lost, but his real victory was just beginning. He understood something crucial. Control isn't about a company's name. It's about structure, shares, and networks. The pieces of Standard Oil later became giants like Exxon, Chevron, and Mobil. The names changed, but the roots, the control, remained. But Rockefeller played an even bigger game. While newspapers painted him as a greedy villain, he began to reshape his public image through philanthropy. He funded the University of Chicago, invested in medical research, and created the Rockefeller Foundation. Suddenly, he wasn't just a monopolist. He was a social reformer, a donor. But think about the hidden strategy. When you fund education and research, you influence what gets taught, what gets discovered, and which technologies advance. True power isn't just in the marketplace, it's in shaping minds. Look at the world around you now. A new tech company offers amazing services for cheap, driving smaller competitors out of business. Then, once they dominate, they change the rules, raise prices, and control your data. Sound familiar? It's the same pattern. First growth, then domination, then image management. You think you're in a free market, but you're often in a carefully designed ecosystem where real control lies in a few hands. Rockefeller's true genius wasn't oil. It was understanding structure. He knew that if you control the supply chain, the transport, and the prices, you can build a system that's almost impossible to beat, even when it's legally broken apart. History doesn't just repeat itself, it gives us patterns. And if you can recognize the patterns, you stop being just a spectator and become a smarter player. Was Rockefeller good or bad? That's a debate for another time. But he was undeniably influential. He taught the world how power is built, maintained, and protected. So the next time you see gas prices, check your mobile data plan, or shop on a massive online platform, remember this story. Behind what's visible, There's always a structure. Rockefeller, the man, is gone, but his model is alive and well, shaping your screen, your wallet, and your life. The choice is yours. Will you just be a customer, or will you start to see the game for what it really is? Thanks for watching. If this made you think, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that reveal the patterns shaping our world.